ever wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken?
Minecraft in the United States in one weekend made more money than Snow White has made globally after 3 weekends.
She's literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is? Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
When we look, you can see families were more than willing to go to the box office to support something like the Minecraft movie, while Rachel Zegler's Snow White continues to plunge.
The future of Hollywood is being battled out right now in theaters as 2 live-action remakes from the biggest studios in Hollywood go head-to-head. Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie versus Disney's Snow White, which in theory should be quite a battle, but it's not even a fair fight.
There's no way that Snow White is going to recover.
I don't think they're gonna buy it. I don't think they're gonna watch it. I don't think they're gonna like it. Every single one of these reviews is just absolutely brutal. And what you also need to know is that these are not politically driven reviews. I mean, most of them are from the camp that should be supporting Disney, that should be behind this new progressive take on Snow White, and yet they can't because the film is apparently just that bad.
Now, there is no doubt about it that Snow White 2025 is considered by far one of the worst box office failures, not just with Disney, but also in the entire film history when it comes down to live-action remakes.
We're talking about ultra-far leftists, people who believe that men and women are a figment of your imagination, that your money is not your own, that your family is not your own, and that your country is not your own. That's what woke me.
But it says, meanwhile, over in the kingdom of crumbling crowns, Disney's Snow White dropped like an enchanted apple.
ABC said Disney's Snow White has a major identity crisis.
What they really mean is they're describing a worldview that hates you. That hates everything America stands for.
Snow White, of course, famously played by the insufferable girl boss narcissist who's just clinical at this point.
But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
Saying that audiences will always line up to see her no matter what she does.
Every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
You know what's interesting?
Well, we all basically knew that Snow White was going to be a massive failure at the box office because of Rachel Zegler's controversial statement.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, I don't need your business. Thanks.
You know, I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it. You didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White.
Right.
You should shut up and do the job.
Interesting about all of this is that the only person waiting in line to see Snow White was Rachel Zegler.
All right, let's skip the whole story about Rachel Zegler criticizing the original Snow White or Disney trying to modernize a beloved classic. We've heard all that before. The real headline is how a movie about pixelated cubes has completely upstaged one of the most famous fairy tales ever created. It's a major blow to Disney's reputation when a film inspired by a block-building game ends up outperforming what was supposed to be its next big live-action success. Welcome to the Disney Meltdown, complete with panicked executives, disappointed fans, and a star who can't seem to avoid controversy. Disney thought it had a guaranteed hit. The Snow White name alone practically launched the entire Walt Disney empire back in 1937. How could a modern reboot fail? Well, it failed by turning what used to be a sweet fairy tale into something that feels more like a lecture than an adventure. Meanwhile, the Minecraft movie, an adaptation of a game many saw as just for kids, rolled in with minimal fuss and a massive following, then soared at the box office. The House of Mouse got blindsided by a swarm of blocky characters that brought in bigger crowds than a live-action princess with decades of brand power behind her.
And the cops had to escort the rowdy teenagers out. The Minecraft movie is doing something magical. It's creating a live audience reaction event.
When Disney decided to change Snow White's story, it drove a wedge between fans. People who adored the charming, old-fashioned princess weren't thrilled to see her replaced by what felt like a heavy-handed update. And it didn't help that the actress playing her seemed determined to point out every fault she found in the classic. Audiences noticed quickly. Nobody wants to spend their money to be talked down to about a fairy tale they've loved for decades. The new Minecraft movie offered pure fun. No scolding or forced messages. It was a throwback to when going to the theater meant escaping real life, not getting lectured.
So it got destroyed at the box office. Here's the box office numbers. The Minecraft movie made $60 million on Saturday. Snow White made $2.
As release day got closer, box office predictions for Snow White were shockingly low. People suspected it wouldn't even make back its huge budget. Still, Disney had faith in its own marketing machine. After all, how many times had they turned a stumbling project into a smash hit with a clever ad campaign? But this time, viewers weren't buying it. And that's when the Minecraft movie decided to drop, overshadowing Snow White with an absurdly big opening weekend. Critics who had called Minecraft too childish ended up eating their words. Families packed theaters to watch a silly, action-packed adventure. It struck the perfect balance of humor, nostalgia, and fan service. Compared to that, the new Snow White felt like a downer.
And of course, this weekend, Minecraft came out, which has absolutely dominated the box office, done significantly better than analysts even projected. And now we're finding out that Snow White has officially crossed $160 million.
Turned over $157 million while earning another $144 million internationally. The Minecraft video game was introduced in 2011 and sold more than 300 million copies. So it actually has a fan base, user base, people that care about it. In theory, Snow White should as well. Snow White's the movie that made Disney, the studio. They should have been more cautious and careful with their own IP. It's $1 billion IP. The Disney Snow White, faithfully adapted, would have made $1 billion.
Since you had the marketing material not being all that good, a lot of advertisements were really mediocre for this film, and to top it off, they made tons of changes and they strayed away from the source material, which upset a lot of fans.
This movie exists, by the way. You can't tell me Minecraft is the worst movie of 2025 when Snow White exists. That's right. The Minecraft movies are going to make more in the weekend than Snow White's made in its entire theatrical run, and we know why. Teens in suits shouting lines, cheering like it was a concert. Check out the energy. Unreal. Disney Snow White is flopping hard. Why did Minecraft win? Because they stayed true to their actual audience. If Disney had made a faithful adaptation to the original Snow White, it would have made $1 billion.
Okay, so
And the cops had to escort the rowdy teenagers out. The Minecraft movie is doing something magical. It's creating a live audience reaction event where people are going to just be part of something to interact with the movie itself. The kind of thing that really creates like a kinetic movement.
Suddenly, you'd open social media and see two types of posts. On one side, angry Disney fans complaining that Snow White was too preachy and had lost its magic. On the other, Minecraft fans posting pictures of lines around the theater and talking about how great it was to see their favorite game finally done right. Parents were thrilled, kids were ecstatic, even skeptical adults got a kick out of it. Everyone agreed that while it might not be high art, it was entertaining. Meanwhile, Snow White limped through its first weekend. People complained it felt like the cast and crew disapproved of everything that made the original beloved.
Whereas the Snow White model is the message ad infinitum, shoved directly up your ass, and most importantly, in the most insufferable possible way, like screamed at you by an ugly woman for 2 hours. And so let's see how they fared against each other. The Minecraft movie breaks box office record with $300 million global opening, while woke Snow White slips again. Minecraft movie was a big winner, debut weekend, $300 million.
Inside Disney, the atmosphere was pure chaos. Execs blamed each other for everything from bad marketing to ignoring fan feedback during test screenings. Some said the script had too many rewrites, each more message-heavy than the last. Others pointed fingers at Rachel Zegler, claiming her interviews made the film seem hostile to its own source material. But let's be honest, she wasn't the only problem. Disney clearly signed off on the idea of turning Snow White into a modern commentary. She just happened to be the most public face, and her open disregard for the original fairy tale turned off a lot of viewers. Fair or not, she got the brunt of the blame.
The reason why is partially because of Rachel Zegler, but also because of the entire garbage movie itself. We keep blaming Rachel Zegler, and she's an easy scapegoat. And I think they're scapegoating her on purpose. But the entire movie was trash. All of Rachel Zegler didn't write Snow White. Right? Rachel Zegler didn't cast Snow White. The studio did. It's a Disney problem. Disney did these things.
If you step back and look at the bigger picture, this pattern isn't new for Disney. In recent years, many of their live-action remakes have received mixed or negative responses, especially when they stray from what made the originals classics in the first place. But Snow White was supposed to be untouchable. It's the film that basically birthed the Disney brand. Instead of a triumphant return to the box office, it became a cautionary tale about messing with nostalgia. Even fans who might have been open to a slight update felt the new version went too far, losing the original spark and replacing it with lecturing about modern values. The Minecraft movie, on the other hand, was instantly embraced by its audience. It kept the simple joy of building blocky worlds and fighting silly pixel creatures, and people of all ages loved that. Some critics were unimpressed, giving it mediocre scores for story and visuals. But guess what? Ticket buyers don't always line up with professional critics. Gamers and families showed up in droves, proud to support a fun adaptation that respected their love for the game.
Encouraging to see a movie that decided to do the opposite of Snow White, which is, according to all available reviews, including from the people that I trust the very most on this platform, it is non-political. The Minecraft movie does not try to beat you and box you about the ears with the message. It is just silly fun for kids, which is what a kid's movie should be.
It's not that people hate messages or modern commentary, it's that they don't like feeling insulted or preached at. They want a movie that entertains first and maybe has a point to make second. The moment Disney starts placing the lesson front and center, especially in a story known for its fairy tale purity, viewers notice. They feel talked down to, and they react by staying home or picking a different film. In this case, that film was about a blocky game world, which ended up crushing Disney's new version of Snow White in ticket sales. With the box office results out in the open, you can imagine the meetings going on at Disney HQ. How could something as massive as Snow White lose to a video game movie? Some execs argued they just needed a bigger marketing push. Others said they should have tightened control over the cast's public statements, but a growing number of folks in and out of the company think the real problem is that Disney keeps trying to fix stories that people never asked them to fix. The audience isn't waiting around for updated, morally improved fairy tales. They want to relive what they loved or see it expanded in a way that feels true to the spirit of the classic. Rachel Zegler's reputation took a big hit from all this. She went from being viewed as a fresh talent to someone who rubbed many fans the wrong way. Granted, she didn't write the script, but her dismissive comments about the original movie didn't help. People who might have forgiven a few creative changes got really annoyed by her snarky attitude toward the classic. Is it fair that she singled out more than the rest of the production team? Maybe not, but that's how public perception works. When the star seems to dislike the original story, audiences take that personally. Now, everyone wants to know if Disney will learn from this massive flop. Are they going to keep pumping out remakes that stray far from the original? Or will they realize that there's a fine line between modernizing and alienating the people who made their brand so powerful in the first place? Some watchers think Disney will keep doubling down, insisting that audiences just weren't ready. Others predict a shift toward more faithful adaptations, or even brand new stories that skip all these controversies. While Disney figures this out, the success of the Minecraft movie stands as a giant signpost for how to handle a beloved IP. The filmmakers understood what people loved about the game, its playful, creative energy, and they delivered exactly that. There was no scolding, no overshadowing the game's charm with an over-the-top political message. They simply said, "Here's what you love on the big screen." And audiences responded with enthusiasm, dropping tons of money on tickets. It's the most basic formula in entertainment. Respect the audience, stay true to the source material, and people will show up. In contrast, Disney demanded that viewers accept a big list of changes and a lead actress who criticized the older film as if it were nothing but an outdated relic. By the time it hit theaters, the damage was done. People had read the interviews, seen the leaks, and made their minds up. If you look at social media, fans didn't just dislike the changes, they resented being told that they were silly for loving the original. When a company as powerful as Disney forgets that the audience's affection is never guaranteed, it's a recipe for disaster. Snow White's meltdown was the final straw for a lot of Disney loyalists who felt disappointed by recent missteps. As for Minecraft, it reminded everyone that fun, escapist entertainment still has a big place at the box office, and you don't need to tear down a classic to succeed. So where does Disney go from here? Maybe they'll dial back on these forced updates, or maybe they'll ignore the lesson and blame marketing, the economy, or anything else. But one thing's clear. Audiences are tired of being told they shouldn't love what used to make Disney movies special, and that's exactly what this Snow White felt like, an attempt to shame people out of their affection for a beloved fairy tale. Until Disney figures this out, they risk more embarrassments. The days of slap Disney on the poster and watch the money roll in might be gone. Viewers are smarter and more vocal, and they'll keep turning to whatever genuinely entertains them. Like a simple, blocky game that turned into a blockbuster when handled with respect and heart. For now, it's Minecraft 1, Snow White 0, and it wasn't even a close game. Disney has a lot of rebuilding to do if it wants to restore its magical image, and fans will be watching closely to see if they actually learn from the fiasco, or just pretend it never happened. But it's pretty hard to pretend you didn't get beaten by a bunch of cubes.